we are living in Western culture. And again we are reverting back to our Indian culture, socio-indigenous culture. So in that way, after the French Industrial Revolution, in Western society, there had been urbanization, there had been mobility, there had been transportation, there had been many changes and great changes in our day-to-day life, and which have given us the cause of devastation, destruction. Everywhere there is destruction, and they have totally ignored the environmental impact. There had been opening industries and industries, plants, machinery and all that. So that is the outcome of French Industrial Revolution in Western society. And even in India, we have borrowed that legacy from the Western, that we had also started after independence, the industries and industries, plants on the banks of our pious and holy rivers. Today we are seeing that all rivers are polluted. So much so that we cannot even take bath in the holy rivers. We cannot see, we cannot dip in that. So now we awareness regarding the nature and environment destruction and developments and all that. So we are now conscious, but our consciousness or awareness towards protection of environment has arisen only in recent days. And being conscious of this fact that environment at any cost must be preserved, then there was the problem arose. What should be done? We cannot stop developments. Development of man, development of community, development of society, and unfortunately we have focused only on economic developments. Economic development, as we have perceived today, that is panacea. That is not panacea. Development should be there. Spiritual development should be there. Economic development should be there. Industries may be opened. Factories may be opened. Unemployment may be eradicated. Poverty may be eradicated. All that. So we have focused only on this destruction of environment, or we have developed at the cost of environment. So in that way, anyhow, in 1972, sustainable development, the traditional concepts that development and ecology are opposed to each other, is no longer accepted. You all know, you will agree to me that environment and development, they are not contradictory to each other. They are rather complementary to each other, and both sides we should grow, both sides we should develop. And with that view keeping in mind, the sustainable development is the answer. So that environment protection on the one side and development on the other. We cannot stop development only on the preservation of our environment. Environment should also be protected and development should also go on. And for that way, but we have to develop systematically. And that systematically development is called sustainable development. In the international sphere, sustainable development as a concept came to be known for the first time in the Stockholm Declaration 1972. not very old. It is just a new concept that arises today. Okay. So what I was telling you that sustainable development as a concept came to be known for the first time in the Stockholm Declaration 1972. Thereafter in 1987, the concept was given a definite shape by the World Commission on Environment and Development in its report called Our Common Future. Till now, we were just confined to the present generation, exploiting natural resources as much as possible without least caring for the future generation, next generation. So why this World Summit is most important? Because it talks of environment to be protected for next generation while meeting our needs in the present. So systematically we have to develop. So that is the main theme of World Conservation Union, United Nations Environment Program Worldwide Fund for Nature jointly came out with a document called Caring for the Earth, which is a strategy for the sustainable living. Finally came with the Earth Summit held in June 1992 at Rio, which saw the largest gathering of the world leaders ever in the history. Deliberating and charting out a blueprint for the survival of the planet. Among tangible achievements of the Rio conference was signing of two conventions, one on biological diversity and another on climate change. These conventions were signed by 153 nations. The delegates also approved by consensus 3 non-binding documents, namely Statement on Forestry Principles, Declaration of Principles on Environment Policy and Development Initiative, and Agenda 21, a program of action into the next century areas like poverty, population and pollution. During the 2 decades or rather three decades, we find that from Stockholm to Rio, sustainable development has come to be acceptable as a viable concept to eradicate poverty, improve quality of human life, which Sanjay Biyani ji had well narrated just before I came over here, and I thank him very much for this enlightenment. Sustainable development as defined by Brundtland report means development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own demands. Sustainable development in customary law, its essential or salient features have yet to be finalized by the international jurists. So in this sustainability has come a key word for all of us, and we are all scientists, all speakers, all august body sitting over here have been grappling with this problem, that how to make the system to be a sustainable development. So I hope and I am confident that the delegates today in today's workshop, which is mainly on law, will be successful, and I assure all that they will be succeeding in their achievements, and I congratulate again and hope that delegates will certainly grapple with the problem and they will come out with the successful achievements. With this hope, I congratulate again all of you, and I am thankful to you for inviting me to be here, and I am mainly thankful to organizers Dr. Rakesh ji, Manish ji, Sanjay ji, that they have granted me this opportunity to be discussed among you. I am not a man of environment, not man of spiritualism, much as Sanjay Biyani ji. So, anyhow, they have called me, therefore I have come. And with these words, I take my seat. Okay, thank you very much.
Continuing with the session, to shift one's thinking and see things from another's perspective is the first step to changing both oneself and the environment. So to further share their thoughts, we have Professor Akihiko Fujiwara from Japan. We welcome you here on stage, sir. Professor Akihiko Fujiwara gained his PhD in 1995 from Tohoku University, Japan. Presently, he is the professor at Department of Nanotechnology for Sustainable Energy in the Konsai Gakuin University. His main research interests are experimental condensed matter physics, focusing on semiconductor and battery materials for sustainable development. We welcome you here, sir, today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers, Professor Biyani, for inviting me to such a nice conference. So it is my greatest pleasure to be here. Thank you. So my name is Akihiko Fujiwara from Department of Nanotechnology for Sustainable Energy. So I comes from the School of Science and Technology, but I'll be talking about today relating to the law and humanities and so on. So the title of my talk today is Be a World Citizen for Sustainable Development. Okay, let me start my talk with a simple question. So local and global, are they opposition or coalition? So our message is already shown in the abstract. So the global issues cannot be solved by any one country acting alone. So we influenced each other. Therefore, we have opportunity to connect with others beyond our national borders or the beyond regions. So therefore, we can, but we should cooperate on the global scale to create a better world for sustainability. So this is relating to the very famous phrase, think globally, act locally. But it doesn't mean, I think, you please act locally. I don't think so. So it doesn't mean. But I think it means that even when you act locally, you should think global environment and so on. Therefore, so local and global should be connected, closely connected to each other. So therefore, it seems to be opposition, but my answer is they are coalition. Okay? So our university's educational objective is similar to such a thing. Konsei University cultivates students to creative and capable world citizens who embody its school motto, Mastery for Service. Also, of course, it should be for sustainable development. Okay, Kwansei Gakuin University is, as already introduced by the Professor Biyani, so one of the oldest and leading comprehensive private university in Japan. It was founded in 1889. The 130th university, 130th anniversary in the next year. The community is based on the principle of Christianity, but we welcome and accept any other religion peoples. If you are interested in or sympathize with our school motto, Mastery for Service again. So it means again to master our knowledge or skills to serve the neighbors, societies, and the world, from local to global. So it should be connected closely. Okay. As I explained, it matches with the famous phrase, think globally, act locally for sustainable development. Again, it is independent of the religions. So we welcome you if you are interested in our school motto, Mastery for Service. As I explained, Kwansei Gakuin University is a comprehensive private university. Therefore, we have many schools. There are 11 undergraduate, 14 graduate schools from humanities and 2 School of Science and Technologies. So therefore, you can study specific topics in each school. But in order to cultivate students' global viewpoint, we offer the dual endeavor program for all students. Okay, usually you study at one school. It should be the major, so we call now first major, or the home ground. University Japan, approved by Japanese government. Therefore, we try to cultivate students' global viewpoint. Okay, for this purpose, we offer second major or the away ground through international program, going abroad, and hands-on learning, going to the company to get the skills, and also the minor program, going to another school for studying different subject. Okay, today's topic is the sustainability and it's relating to the globalization. Therefore, I introduced one good example as the second major. We have a cross-school program relating to the United Nations and Foreign Affairs Studies. So it's called the UNFA. So all of the students belong to any school can take such a program. Okay, UNFA is designed to train professionals in global public management. For instance, United Nations, international NGOs, non-government organizations, diplomatic institutions, for example. So students can study at the UNV, United Nations Volunteers, and ICRC, International Committees of the Red Cross. Also, JICA, Japan International Cooperating Agency for supporting other countries. So for cultivating his or her global viewpoint. Okay, one of the unique features of this program is the highly distinguished faculty members. Example is, do you know the Yasushi Akashi? He is the former Under-Secretary in General of United Nations, almost the top of the United Nations, Japanese. So then came back to Japan, and we offer the lecture and course for students taking the USFA program. Others are also relating to the organization of the United Nations. Okay, so as I explained, all of students in any belong to any schools who take the UNSA program, so you can get the knowledge or skills through this program. But because of the time, so let me introduce one example on the IBA, Institute of Business and Accounting. Our university's Institute of Business and Accounting, IBA, have the two schools, business schools and accounting schools. And business school offers two courses. One is part-time courses. So this is for the course of the businessman or the people working at the daytime in the company and then study at the midnight, night. Other one is the international managing course. This is a full-time course for students and taught in English. The uniqueness or the unique feature of the IMC, International Management course, is the really international environment. So you can take the global standard education, MBA education program in Japan. Also, the ratio of the international student to Japanese student is 4.6. So Japanese is ratio of the Japanese around 20, not so much. Second one is a highly intensive teacher-student interaction. The ratio of the student to full-time teacher is only 9. For each teacher, only 9 students can taught by the teachers. Okay, so this number is very small. Also, you can study from not only academic professionals, but also the professionals from the private sectors. Therefore, you can study basics and also the very applied matters. Okay, the system, education system is also closely related to the UNFA. The program of the IMC looks like this. And in addition to this, of course, the UNFA offers the special course as the second major. But UNFA co-offer the part of the IMC course. Therefore, IMC course program student can cultivate his or her own the global viewpoint. After the graduation of the IMC course, so he or she will get a scholarship of the MBA and also the certificate for the graduate course in UNFA. Okay, then you cultivate your skills in the specific field with the knowledge or the skills of the relating to the globalization. We also, our university also offer the support, the multicultural student support. For example, the rooms for the resting for the female researchers, and prayer rooms, and wide variation of the foods and drinks. This is not only for the comfortable environment, but also for studying or the feeling other community cultures and also the customs. This is also good for the cultivating your own global viewpoint. Okay, we also offer dormitory for the international student. In this case, you share the room by 4 students. Therefore, you also have a chance to communicate with students from other countries. So please feel the culture, other countries' cultures, customs, and so on. living with other countries is very good environment for cultivating the global viewpoint. Okay, number of students, this is very important. In our university, more than 25,000 students is now studying in total, including the Japanese students from abroad. The number of international students is around 800, not so small. They have a relatively international environment. From China, Korea, USA, Taiwan, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, the number of students from India as of May of 2018 is only one. But from autumn semester, from October, we have another student. So one student from India joined to us. Therefore now, one master program student and one doctor program student. So in order to increase the number of students from India, so we looking forward to seeing you at Kwanseiga University. So this is my message. So be a world citizen for sustainable development at Kwanseiga University through the unique program. But even though you cannot get the position, you cannot join the Kwanseiga University, but the passion or the seek is very similar. So please cultivate your global viewpoint for being the world citizen for sustainable development. Thank you for your kind attention.
We welcome you, ma'am, Dr. Sanjila Thandvi from the Department of Law, University of Rajasthan, and request Professor Manish Gandhi sir to offer her a floral welcome. Honored to have you here, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I once again welcome you all to this BICON 2018, the Indo-Japan Bilateral Conference. A positive attitude is a burning matchstick to a pile of negativities. Many of us would have made a huge effort to join us today. So on behalf of us all, I would like to invite Professor Satish Handa for his valuable words of wisdom. Sir, you're kindly invited on the dais. A huge round of applause for Professor Satish Handa.
Professor Sanjila and Professor Madhu Shastri ji, Dr. Sanjula Thanvi sir, Professor Anil Buzer, Rihana ji, and our mentors who had provided the space Dr. Rajiv Biyani, Dr. Sanjay Biyani and Dr. Manish Biyani. Without their cooperation, this such a huge seminar can't be think. The esteemed faculty of Biyani Group of Institutions and my dear intelligent students. Today is the last day of your seminar, BICON Sustainable Development. There might be a curiosity in the mind of our esteemed Japanese guest and the students from the non-legal fraternity that what is the relation between the science and the law. There is a vast relationship between the both of this institution of the society. Both are meant for the sustainable development of a human mankind. Science test, check and analyze the things, and they are making the things for the development, for the sustainable development, for the human welfare, for the welfare of the mankind. At the same time, the object of the law is we are also doing the work for the human welfare, human development. So there is a vast relationship between the both of them, but at the same time, I can say with a proud that science is not taking care of the law, but law is taking care of the science. Sir, through our legislations, the legal society, the legislatures, the legislation prevailing in the country, it ensures the science for the implementation, for the promotion, for the preservation, and in case any violation is made of the science people, the law will deal with them certainly. Sir, we at the legal branch, we are taking care about your researches, your developments, your discoveries, your inventions. We are having so many legislations over it. We are having intellectual property rights. We are having copyrights, patent act, trademark act, design act, our NGT act, cosmetic and drugs act, and we are contributing. We both the branches, the science and the law, we are both making contribution towards the sustainable development. And I'm quite sure that our esteemed legal luminaries of Jaipur, Professor Santla, who was the first Vice Chancellor of first Law University of Rajasthan, either in the public sector or private sector, Mr. Santla has done a lot. Mrs. Madhu Shastri, she is also a legal luminary. Professor Sanjula Thanvi, the Associate Professor of the University of Rajasthan, served Rajasthan in the various institutions, and now she is the Associate Professor, and certainly within a year she will head either the 3 years School of Law or 5 years School of Law. So I am quite sure that the students of the law as well as of the science, they will be benefited from the today's seminar. And in the last, I welcome all the esteemed guests, legal luminaries, and the trio Biyanis, Dr. Rajiv Biyani, Dr. Sanjay Biyani, and Dr. Manish Biyani. And I hope, and we are celebrating the 13th anniversary of the BICON, and in future also, with the grace of our Japanese guest and by the efforts of Professor Manish Biyani, this will go long. So I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here, and certainly I will also be benefited from this seminar. Thank you very much.
Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. It is indeed this mantra of working together that has brought us where we are today. We have an eminent personality present amongst us, Professor Dr. Arun K. Pujari sir. He is the Vice Chancellor, Central University of Rajasthan, and we are deeply honored to welcome you here today. I request a round of applause as we welcome the staff of Biyani College. I request our chairman, Professor Rajiv Biyani sir, to offer a floral welcome to our respected dignitary, Professor Arun K. Pujari sir. We are indeed honored to welcome you here, sir, today, and for taking out time from your busy schedule. Professor Pujari is a professor of computer science at the University of Hyderabad. He is also currently the Vice Chancellor, the Central University of Rajasthan. He has received his PhD from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. He has a rich experience of teaching of 35 years. And we are really honored, sir, that you are present here today. So I request you to please come up on the stage and enlighten the students present here. With a round of applause and cheer, we welcome you on the stage.
Morning to all of you. I'm not very. One of the things that is irritation for everybody is to, when you speak, somebody comes and does this. Right? The moment I start speaking, gradually with the momentum, I may be loud, sometimes I may be soft. Based on that, I'll adjust myself, and there no person should be standing here. By nature, I am a teacher, and I expect everybody to sit rather than to stand and watch dog to the speaker. I am not aware of the guests who are present because I just came in, but I overheard or heard that there is a trio Biyanis. So, addressing them, addressing the chief guest, addressing all the dignitaries. I am really grateful, thankful to all of you for giving me a chance to come here and address you. I am very sorry that I came almost at the last moment, and I am not very sure whether I am late or I am on time. Because I have been told that I have to speak at 10:30 and probably I entered this hall around 10. So whether that is on time or sometimes being extremely punctual is also not right to be punctual. In any case, very thankful to the lady who introduced me by saying that I hold a position of Professor of Computer Science at University of Hyderabad, and I am currently the Vice Chancellor of Central University of Rajasthan. Now, both the designation, if you think, doesn't fit to the theme of the session at all. And I am also not sure why at all I was asked to speak in this session, when I found that there are sessions which are more appropriate for me. But nevertheless, I thought I'd talk to young people. This is an opportunity to come here and know people here. And I also learned the few minutes that I've been sitting here before coming to the dais, that this is probably a legal expertise that is present here. And that is totally very far from my area of studies. But then I asked myself, I was away, I was abroad, I came only 2 days back, and I asked myself that what for these people have called me and what is the theme. Then I found somewhere there is a term called Humanities to the Rescue of Sustainability and Legal Framework. Challenges, issues and perspectives. So I thought, let me be selfish and not bother about legal framework, but think about humanities to the rescue of sustainability. And stop there. Put a full stop and say that as if I have not seen anything of this. And start talking about this. But I am also not sure about the audience. A lot of young students are here, but then whether they are all from the law school or all from the humanities or all from the sustainable development, or maybe mixed up all this, I am not very sure about it. But still, let me try to speak totally in an open forum, in an open mind, without any agenda, without anything at all on this expertise. In fact, you can think of a person standing here who doesn't have any expertise at all on the theme or on any of this, and then is talking to you, and hence only God knows how the whole deliberation will go. Now, one thing that I ask myself to start with is that everybody is talking about sustainable development. Everybody is talking about sustainability. Why is that? Why is that it is sustainable? And why is that, what do you mean by sustainability? What do you mean by sustainable development? I am very sure that this being the 3rd day of the conference, and this being a theme of the entire 3 days of sustainability, the experts abroad, most of them from Japan, the experts from here must have spoken to you about what is sustainable development. And then I don't have to talk about that. But only thing people talk about that, okay, sustainable development means that a very simple way, that you should not consume water as much more than that is required, so that the next generation or next posterity or future generation should be not getting water. You should not use energy in such a way that the energy is all used and they will not get the energy. But you should not use anything X, Y, Z of, whether it is health facilities, energy facilities, education facilities, any facilities. I'm seeing that the students are talking and the teachers are trying to tell them that don't talk. Now I request the teachers not to tell that. If I make my speech interesting, then they will stop talking. So don't worry about any other way of talking. So any of these kind of things gradually become a definition of sustainable development, and we says that, look, you should be in a position to decide how to use a particular resource which is limited, which is not freely available, such a way that tomorrow's humanity, tomorrow's planet will not be in a situation that they are debarred or they are void of this particular facility. And probably that is the simplest way of talking about sustainability. But then the words development that takes care there is only to do the sustainability on the development side. That means I should talk about climate, I should talk about natural resources, I should talk about anything else. But tell me one thing, I am asking the students now, Qutub Minar is existing for so many years and going to exist for so many years. Is it not sustainability? But then why is it that people are not talking about sustainability for this kind of thing? It means that somebody sometimes back has thought of doing something which is sustaining, which is continuing to be surviving for generation together, seeking or even countering the pressure of climate, pressure of human man-made situations, but still it is surviving. But what we are talking in the general understanding of what we are talking about is that we are not talking about sustainable monuments, we are talking about sustainable development. And the moment we say sustainability, we are not talking about sustainable monuments, but we are talking about sustainable resources. How much we can use and other. And in that situation, when we are talking about that, for some means, somehow, people think that this is more of an engineering problem. It is more of a technological problem, or it is more of a scientific problem. That how best the water should be used, the environment should be used, or a natural resource can be used, is the domain of science, technology, or engineers, and is not the domain of law graduates, is not the domain of humanities, not the domain of social science. So there becomes a clear-cut distinction between who are the people who have the right, who have the legitimate expertise to speak. For example, I do not have the legitimate expertise to be standing here and talking on this session, and I am talking. Similarly, who are the people who have the legitimate expertise to talk about sustainable development? And who are the people people think that they do not have that kind of expertise, do not have that discipline. And then immediately they like, oh, you are a person from law, you have nothing to do with sustainable development. You are a person of philosophy, you have nothing to do with sustainability. You don't know what you mean by sustainability. We are science, we are environmental scientists, we are physicists, we are chemistry people. So we have to talk about sustainable development. We are economics, so we are supposed to do it. You people are not. So there is a kind of a, what should I say, cultural barrier, or a divide, or a kind of a wall saying that I would do this job and you should not do that. Why is that? I don't know about, if I am assuming that major crowd is from law, which I am not sure. I don't know about this, but then what is the general feeling? General feeling is that a science person, an engineering person, or a technology person thinks that the other side people, that is, whether it is law, whether it is philosophy, whether it is social science, whether it is maybe history, that they are not the systematic people. They are not smart. They speak imprecise language. I would say, I would like to use the word, something which some people may not know, nobody should know in fact. Something which is very specific to my personal listing, that the thanks to the madam who has introduced me that I am a professor of computer science. The next step to that is that I am a professor of artificial intelligence. That is, in computer science, my specialization is artificial intelligence. So we understand human mind, we try to see cognition. So we discuss all these kind of things. So that's why coming back to this thing, that scientists feel that other people who are not science people, let it be legal, let it be social science, let it be arts, humanities and other things, they feel that these people are not precise. So there are people here on law. Can I assume that law graduates are here? Okay. Now, can I ask you a question? I don't expect you to answer it immediately. I'll answer it because if you answer something then I may not be able to react because I want a particular answer, so I'll answer it. But a question that I'm asking is that how is a legal subject, legal science I'll put it, or how is law is different from science or physics? Science means I'm talking about physics, chemistry or biology. And just leave it for a minute to tell you, think of what is this thing that happens. Now this is a place where we, a group of people of artificial intelligence, sometime around 20-30 years back, we deliberated and came to this conclusion in India itself, because we are thinking of this thing. The answer to this is, one of the major answers to this is that when the laws, science has laws also. If you're talking about law in your law program, but science also has Newton's law is law. Okay, laws, principle being same, science gives a unique conclusion. And keeping the same law, same principle intact without changing, legal practices gives you two different conclusions. And science, at no point of time, unless you tinker with that law, principle and other things, you will come to a different conclusion with the same thing. But that is not true with legal things. Legal things, all the things are in place, don't change it. Still you can infer two different things, two contradictory things, two things which are totally opposite at different contexts. Whereas it is not possible in science. Why is it? It is because the laws in science are rigid, precise, and the information that is in the other discipline is imprecise. Okay, so when the science people are, I'm using the word imprecise, giving importance to the word imprecise more than what it deserves, but then still I'm trying to tell you. So the science people are trying to tell that this community is something who are not precise, they are imprecise. They don't tell things properly. In order to describe something, they use so much of things and go round and round and they don't tell anything. Whereas science is such that everything is told precisely, unambiguously, and hence we are smart and they are not smart. But the fact is that why should be that if by accommodating impreciseness should be called as you are not smart? Why should it happen? Why should it be that a person who is precise is only unambiguous, is only person that should be there, and other people should not? I would like to put it in different ways, that impreciseness is more tolerant to ambiguities. That means two different views can co-locate, can coexist together when it is imprecise. And when it is precise, it is only one view remains and others are discarded. And our society requires to be tolerant to ambiguous views. Our society requires that we may have a view, but we also respect an opposite view. If that is the case, then which is better? The disciplines which are able to provide you an imprecise information and respect coexistence of ambiguities are much better discipline in this current context than the work which is science. So you know how I am building up the argument to all of you, because you are all again saying that law professionals, you gradually build up an argument and finally come to an inference. So I am also building an argument. I first said that this is what people talk about sustainable development. And second I said that sustainable development is such that scientists think it is their birthright to discuss that, and they try to rule out the possibility of other disciplines. But then the second one which I am trying to tell is that what is the uniqueness of the other discipline which these people are trying to distinguish. I don't have, well, what time is this? Very interesting now that I was just talking about coexistence of ambiguous things. Photograph and myself are ambiguous. They are coexisting together. So this is also one interesting thing. So now the question comes that if this is what we are talking about, if this is what we are talking, then it is necessary that we should nurture those disciplines which has got the ability to coexist, accommodate ambiguity. Now I am asking another question. There are a lot of films, lot of storybooks, novels that you read, where a particular story is made. Why do you think that those people are able to tell that? Why do you think a writer writes a novel? Because humanities also means that English language, literature, also part of humanities. Why somebody writes a novel? Or let's say that, I would put it this way, that unless our, let it be Hindi movies or English movies, unless our novels have written stories where it is depicted that a lady or a woman is suffering in the society or being harassed in the society, or with a very nice story built up, this society could not have come up to that level to have protection to the woman. So no science will come up for this. It is only the literature, humanities, law, they will come forward to put a idea to the society that your policies, your ways of life should come such a way, and they could have said it. A movie could have just said one line, that in this village women are suffering, so please ensure that they should not suffer. Why should they have to tell a story? There should be a hero, there should be a heroine, there should be a song, and finally ending up saying that this person is suffering. Because this is the only way a human being or human society will be able to accept. Everything cannot be just scientific way of experimenting, empirical and doing. There should be certain things that requires building of ideas, building of concepts, deliberating, debating, discussing, and come up with something. Let me tell one simple line. That suppose I say that any policy, for example, government policy, let's put it this way. Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao policy is good for society. I make a statement like this. The policy of Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao policy is good for the society. Whether it is true or false, no science can do that. scientific ways of doing this will be able to decide whether this statement is true or false. If you say every reaction has an opposite reaction, then yes, you can try Newton's law, you can try an experiment and prove. But if you say that the policy X is good for society, prove, science will fail. Now if science fails here, why does it fail? It fails because what is good for the society is an ill-posed problem in science. It is a problem that is cannot be solved with science. And what is good for the society can come up only from the society. So you should have social networking, you should have debate, you should have discussions, you should have writings, you should have in different languages, different narratives to be written, and finally, when consensus in the society will come, it will say that this is good for the society. And hence, because it is good for the society, then you can try to prove. So please see that every decisions, every conclusions, every inference need not be scientific. And every process need not be scientific. And then come back to the whole thing about our sustainability. Now, do you only want sustainability by having a scientific process, or do you want a sustainability by a process which is catering to humanities, to legal structures, or to anything that is not scientific? I think I'm not very sure about the legal part of it, but then definitely humanities is the one that we can talk about. We should be in a position to decide what is happening. I'm giving few examples, let's say. I'm telling you a story first. It is not a story, it is a information that I have got from scientific literature. My university is located in Kisangad, and some of you may be familiar with what, you know what happens? The teachers stand and tell the students that don't talk, but they can talk. So that is very interesting. So now we can talk about Kisangad. Kisangad is very famous for its painting. Miniature paintings. It is an heritage of miniature painting. And it is sustainable in the sense that today also there are painters who are painting. There are people who are having a professional painting, or they are living through paintings. But then there is an interesting thing that happens. That if you look at all those paintings, and in fact recently I just came back from US. So my interest being in paintings and cultural heritage and other things, so I went to their museum and saw the paintings of European and American paintings. And I could clearly distinguish two things, that if you look at any of the paintings of Europe, America, even Japan and China, one of the colors that comes out very prominent is silver, white color. If you put light on that white color, that old painting with white color would come as if it is silver, it reflects, it is fluorescent. But one of the colors that is very prominent in India is yellow. You can see that if you are depicting Krishna, again yellow dress. Because anything of that is mostly yellow. Then people, scientific, I am talking about the science part. Scientific people were talking about that, let us see how this yellow color was generated earlier. If it is a black color, I know it is from coal. If it is green color, I know it is from leaves. If it is red color, I know it is from iron. But how did they generate yellow color? So there is a debate which is going on even today, very relevant to sustainability and humanity. Even today there is a debate that one group of people think that this yellow color has come out of cow's urine. The urine collected of a specific kind of cows are boiled and the pigments are generated, and that is what is the yellow color which is happening in Kishangarh painting. Now question is that how is that happened? So they found out, some people found out that there is a particular kind of cow and a particular kind of mango, and that cow is only fed with that mango and nothing else. Now day and night that person was only, that cow was fed with the mangoes, and after that you collect the urine and boil that urine, you get that yellow color that is being used. Now if this is true, then you know what has happened? That breed of cows which were surviving only on mangoes and not with grass or any other fodder died, and they don't exist. Sustainability comes into picture now. That should you use a color which will be the cause of extinction of a particular breed of animal? But this is, if this is true, but nobody knows. Even today, people are debating, scientific publications are being published by European scientists, American scientists, not much of Indian scientists, where they are trying to say, answer only one question. Is the yellow color that is available in the miniature paintings of Rajasthan is derived from urine extract, or it is totally not organic? Nobody has answered this. And it is not possible because you cannot spoil a painting which is existing, which is earlier one. You cannot get a sample, and you cannot otherwise know how to. But this, a scientific approach of doing this cannot be done. But a social approach, humanistic approach, probably can arrive at something. People have gone to different villages, people have talked to people have found out literature, people have decoded certain things which are available with the different Rajput princes or other things, and trying to come. So, my time is getting over. So the summary is that you cannot talk about in a higher education environment training students in the area of sustainability without giving emphasis to humanities. You cannot say that sustainability and sustainable development is only a domain of scientific inquiry. It also requires humanities, legal field. Now, moreover, slightly changing from that, which is, this is my personal belief, is that if you are talking about preserving water for the next generation, and that is what you are talking about sustainable development, if you are talking about climate to be preserved so that they can maintain that climate as we are enjoying, then we must also talk about our culture that should be preserved, that should go to that level. We must also talk about our practices that has been over so many years has been sustained and survived, should also be preserved and be taken care of at the next generation. So the experience, I am not talking about the physical water, but I am talking about the experience also is one thing which should be sustained. And that is called aesthetic sustainability. And in order to have sustainability, you need not have to only have sustainable development, but you also should have aesthetic sustainability. And every higher education institution, every university, every college should address sustainable development programs in these directions rather than just restricting itself to climate or energy or thank you very much.
So in order to show gratitude towards our esteemed chief guest and guest of honor present here today, I would request our chairman, Professor Rajiv Biyani sir, to please come up on the stage along with our director, Research and Development, Professor Manish Biyani sir, to please come up on the stage and offer a token of appreciation to all our guests present today. I request our chief guest, Professor Yuzuru Husimi sir, to please come on the stage along with Professor Akihiko Fujiwara. Yes. Please come on the stage. I request Dr. Arun K. Pujari sir to please come on the stage along with Professor Satish Handa sir, as we offer you a memento, a token of our love and appreciation from Biyani colleges for attending the BICON sessions. Amongst us. So to offer a vote of thanks, I request Dr. Neha Pandey ma'am, the convener of BICON, to please come up on the stage and offer a vote of thanks to our highly respected and esteemed guests present here.
I'm extremely delighted and thankful from the bottom of my heart because Professor Arun K. Pujari sir इतनी दूर से आए और अपना समय निकाल के हमारे बीच आए हैं। ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि किसी यूनिवर्सिटी के वाइस चांसलर किशनगढ़ से इतनी दूर की जगह से यहाँ पर आए। Extremely sir, we are very happy and delighted to have you here. It's very honor for all of us. I'm also delighted for having ex-Vice Chancellor Pujari sir was saying, and he's very rightly said that every process need not be scientific. Since you all are majorly the students of humanities, we all understand. बहुत सारी चीजों के निष्कर्ष केवल साइंटिफिक तरीके से नहीं निकाले जा सकते और वही बात सर ने बखूबी हमको समझाई पेंटिंग्स का एग्जाम्पल लेके और लाइफ के कई एग्जाम्पल से। और सर ने बताया कि every conclusion also need not be very scientific. There are many conclusions which are for the development of the society, which are based on the perception of the society and of the people. Because the society is majorly governed by all of us. Everything cannot be really very scientific. And he said that preservation of culture is extremely important for sustainable development. तो सर मैं आपको इसमें बिल्कुल भरोसा दिलाना चाहती हूँ और आश्वासन देती हूँ कि हमारे बच्चे इसमें काफी काम कर रहे हैं और छोटा सा एक डिस्प्ले ऑडिटोरियम के बाहर भी रखा है जो उन्होंने कोशिश की है आर्ट एंड कल्चर को बचाने की। We would love that you can appreciate and see that work of our students also. And very rightly sir had said that aesthetics is very important for sustainable development. So students, आपको ये तीन बातें जरूर यहाँ से लेके जानी चाहिए कि process, culture और aesthetics ये बहुत important हैं sustainable development के लिए। और इन्हीं सब तीन शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देना चाहूँगी। Thank you, thank you, thank you.
the stage so that we can have a group photograph.